Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main stage for the very first time. It is going to be amazing being here, talking to these players and diving deep all weekend long. And what a first match we have to kick things off. Reciprocity to my left, Simplicity to my right, two powerhouse teams in the pool of death. Sneaky, I'm going to start with you. Vital Sam, your former teammate, made the decision to leave this roster to go to the Reciprocity squad. If in your eyes, was that the right move? And what's the history there? What's the deep story?
Pretty much, long story behind that is after New Orleans, my Elevate roster, I left their team to join this roster of Simplicity. During that route, unfortunately, Sam and Soto ended up leaving and joining their team. And this is our first time playing, so I'm not even gonna talk about the past. I'm just ready to play at that point.
And there's actually not a deep history between these two rosters. Last time you guys played against each other, I believe, was Dallas almost a year ago. United back then did get the best of you in that matchup. Are we gonna see a different result today?
I want to beat them. Not kidding. Not kidding.
You could tell that's personal. That's as deep as it gets. I want to ask you about yourself as well. Not many people know, but in addition to being a pro gears player, you run track at Illinois State University. You're a D1 athlete. You're attending university. You're doing it all right now. How is it managing that schedule? And what's the story of Sneaky?
My schedule is actually pretty tough. Even for scrim nights, I'm always rushing to get home. Coming from practice or coming from weights. It's really tough. But I just got to be the person to bring the energy. If I could bring the energy, knowing that I'm tired, our team's gonna go far.
This man has always brought the energy, that is for sure. Much respect to the D1 athlete himself, Sneaky. Sam, I'm going to come to you. I'd love to hear from your perspective, man. What was the thought process? What was the decision to leave this roster to go to this one? And is there a deeper history or story there?
We were scrimming for about a week or two, and Reciprocity hit me up after Shock and Rezic had parted from that United roster. So Crash, Lava, and Pell reached out to me and Soto, and they wanted to pick us up. And it took some thinking, but we knew in the long run it would be the better offer.
Simple as that. So was it what Reciprocity brought to the table, or was it what these guys maybe weren't bringing to the table?
A little bit of both.
All right, a little bit of both, he says. First matchup since Dallas between these two rosters. What outcome do you think we're going to see today?
We're going to win. It's that simple.
Simple.
Know what I mean? We're going to keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Simple as that, it sounds like. Well, that's going to be it for us on the main stage. I'm excited for this one to kick off the Columbus Invitational. That's going to be it between these two on stage. Let's see what's going to happen in this next match.
Toy Soldier. My team name is Simplicity, and I am playing for the charity Give Kids the World. My history as a player, it's definitely up and downs. I do feel like I have something to prove as a player. I may be right, I may be wrong, but for me, I still feel like, I need to show who I am and I'm here, I'm not worried about anybody. You gotta come into a tournament. If you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best. So there's no reason to be worried. If that's the case, go back home. Why are you here?
A lot of stolen quotes in that pre-match interview, and in that little bit of a hype package we saw. We heard on first Reciprocity's player saying, "We're going to keep it simple." That's the tagline for Simplicity. And then in the hype video, Jamie, Toy Soldier himself, says, "To be the man, you got to beat the man." Old Ric Flair coming out in him. And they got to come out and prove something this morning. Who's a player, Blaze, that you're looking for to make a statement first thing on a Saturday?
Ooh, first thing on a Saturday morning, it's gonna have to be actually Zenith for me. Zenith's a player that we saw in Simplicity over these last few events on Fight Night in Toronto, where his marksmanship, he's the sharpshooter of the roster, and I'm gonna be looking for him to make plays for this team because they play around him and that sniper and that M-bar. So that's Simplicity's play style. They're gonna be looking for him to make some picks and make some plays.
And then we go ahead and we looked at how these rosters have former players from both teams. We see that they might have made some changes. There might be some bad blood still there. What are you looking for, Ryan? These teams seem so evenly matched, almost even keeled. What are you looking at for these two teams to take the advantage over the other?
Yeah, so I think for Reciprocity, they have a lot better teamwork in my eyes, right? They're kind of a higher class team. But for me, Simplicity's always been one of those teams that has crazy upset potential, right? But I always saw that as kind of their ceiling. I think there's two ways they can win this match. I think they win this match either by a boom placement to create a kind of a hectic team fight, right? Reciprocity does a lot better in Lancer situations, a lot of setups using their teamwork. But I also think, to Blaze's point, placing a precision weapon for a player like Zenon, who's quickly arisen as kind kind of one of our best, marksmen in the game right now. Giving him a chance to succeed, I think, is going to be one of their two routes to really try to break through, because, like I said, Reciprocity's teamwork is really good.
Simplicity's going to want to win this match because Simplicity's playing for such an amazing charity. Give Kids the World. You heard Toy Soldier say it at the opening of that video. Give Kids the World is an 84-acre nonprofit resort in Central Florida that provides week-long, cost-free vacations to children with critical illnesses and their families. The village and its communities partners provide children and their family accommodations in fully furnished villas, transportation, tickets to theme parks, meals, daily entertainment, and much more. And that sounds like a crazy, crazy good experience for some kids that might be fighting a battle that they don't understand quite yet in this life. And I really hope that they can come out with something to give to that charity. So Simplicity, I hope they come out firing on all cylinders. That sounds like a great cause, doesn't it?
I mean, now I want them to win.
Yeah, right? Like, it's going to be hard to cheer for any, especially cheer for these guys, but everybody's winning, right? It's a competitive environment, but at the same time, we're all playing for a good cause.
And the chess match will begin here shortly because I believe we have the picks and bans coming through here shortly. And Ryan, you're a former coach. You've seen picks and bans, but with this new format, you've got 9 maps in the rotation. You got to ban everything out. Does anything completely stand out to you as a super surprise?
Not as a surprise. So one of the things I thought would happen coming to this weekend is that we see 2 new maps in the rotation for this series. I think you're going to continue to see a lot of new maps because then teams can look at that as sort of a back pocket way to kind of come in and steal a map from a contender.
And here's the scary part, to Ryan's point. If you're able to do that, if you're able to use the bans and the picks to your advantage in a single elim environment, that gets even scarier. You steal a map, maybe a slab of Old Town, even a diner. You take one against a really good team, all of a sudden you can be sending that team home.
And also another thing that you got to take into account, these teams, they practice a lot of these new maps because, we just changed the picks and ban cycles recently, so they're fresh in their mind. So I believe we're going to see a lot of them this weekend.
Yeah, and I liked how Foundation came out second, but we start map 1. Slab. It's a brand new map to the circuit. I'm going to throw it to our casters. Benson, Blaze, take it away, boys.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. The first series of the day, the first series of our charity tournament, and what a game this is going to be. We know these two teams are going to be extremely close in terms of ability. The question, who will ultimately come out on top? It's Slab, Reciprocity, Simplicity. A quick glance at the overhead, and we're going to kick things off on board with Pell.
Yes, we will. And, Pell, he's one of the main slayers on this Reciprocity roster. This is the guy that you want to definitely be in the middle of the fight and making those plays. But this team, very, very versatile. You're going to see off the rip, Simplicity coming through. We got exclusives, actually picking up a double. And so for you guys at home, if you guys never seen this map, Slab before, it's one of our newer maps on the circuit. So very, very symmetrical map. And we've seen a lot of high-action gameplay coming out of this one.
Definitely have Pell already with a double. We heard Fallout talking to both teams. You can kind of see it's a little bit of a grudge match as well. Some bad blood between these two as it stands. Simplicity, the only one with points. 25-0 for Reciprocity. Not too worried about it just yet. Early deficit, not too damaging.
Not too damaging at all. And so going to be on board with Sneak. He's in a 1v1 situation when Lava starting to kind of back up. You see both these teams trying to fight for that neutral hill control on top of this B hill. But, it's Simplicity controlling both home hills, and they got the pressure on top of that C hill. But it's Reciprocity just trying to get that decal.
Yep, and looking for them. And you stay alive. Looking for they stay alive for now, though. Exclusive. Trying to push in once to try and close this out with a trip cap domination. Will he be able to find anything else? Soto and Lava both fall. Now the advantage is well and truly in their favor.
Yes, it is. You see domination coming through. Folks at home, if you cap all 3 hills, you will win the round immediately. That's escalation. But if you can't cap all 3 hills, you can win by reaching 210 points first.
It's funny. I was speaking to Toy yesterday, and he was like, every time I tell you I'm going to do well, we seem to underperform. So I don't think we're going to win any games this weekend. We'll see if maybe the reverse psychology comes into play here. But good start for them, of course. However, weapon placement. We often say, losing that first round sometimes can be a bit of a blessing in disguise.
Yes, it is. It definitely can be. And the reason why Ben says it can be a blessing in disguise, again, is that the losing team is able to put down a power weapon in one of the designated weapon slots on the map. Now, that can change the tempo of this game into your team's favor, depending on what weapon you put down and what's your team's play style. In this situation, we're going to see nades get placed down that furnace hallway, dead center of the map. And that's a good spot because you have angles to get to both home home hills and that neutral hill as well. And you can make some great rotations with those nades.
Exclusive with a 6-0 start. By the way, for Simplicity, didn't die in that round number 1. A big factor for Simplicity, just kind of cruise through, but we'll stay with Simplicity for now. Take a look at Zenon's perspective. He finds one. It's Soto that goes down. 2 players now dead for Reciprocity. And again, see the aggression that Simplicity are playing for, and it just feels toe-to-toe in terms of pace. Simplicity should win this every time.
Yeah, Simplicity should, but you see Simplicity, they're going to come through, domination almost making it in, but you see Reciprocity making a stand, and they're going to be able to take down 2 players. Currently, it's 4 down on the team, all 5 dead. Zidane goes big with the double and gets the cleanup.
So here's the question I have for you is, by the way, Zenon now 10 kills, just 2 deaths. We know the pace style from Simplicity. We know Reciprocity is sometimes a little slower, right? Players like, for example, Soto, older players, much prefer to maybe just not use movement so much. Just an older type of player, right?
Yeah. Very
so
methodical.
how do you beat this fast-paced tempo? Because this is what we're going to see from Simplicity round in, round out. Is it weapon placement? Is it change of play style? How do you beat this fast pace?
You know what? Typically back in the day, it was slowing the play style. But first, you're going to see Simplicity put on a clinic, and that's going to be another wipe for these guys. And they should finally close out this round. Yes, they will. So, to answer your question, Ben, I would say that when you play against a team with a fast play style, you have to either one or two things: go toe-to-toe with them, blow for blow, or you slow it down and you start to bait them in a few traps. If you know that they're kind of going to be rushing that B hill, that's an open hill. So you kind of make sure you set up 2 players mid-map and you catch them in a cross angle and say, hey, if you guys want to rush, you're going to have to rush through these Lancers, all right? That's why we have those support weapons on your hip, those Lancers and those pistols. If a team's getting too aggressive, just whip it out and just Lancer them down.
Well, it seems like a boom hover for now. 10 seconds left, and I mean, it was funny because I know Ryan made the point when we were on the desk. If you're Simplicity and you're down, how do you kind of get yourself back in? Oh, well, you drop a boom. Well, Simplicity, they're up 2-0, and now the big question is, maybe is that weapon placement not the right idea against the team with this fast pace, and a team whose initials, at least so far, Guy, have just looked flawless.
Yeah, definitely have looked flawless, but what this boom is going to do, it's going to force a team fight. But look at this. You got 3 people pushing down low to the furnace hallway on the side of Reciprocity, but just 2 on the side of Simplicity. That's because they're going to take a different angle and try to get some people cutting through mid-map. First blood going in favor of Simplicity. Zenit trying to work that smoke, but now this is the pressure mid-map I was talking about.
Yeah, here's the flank. It comes through, and all of a sudden Reciprocity recognize they were a little bit sandwiched. The nade kill comes through. Toy cleans up. That's 2. Zenon has the Crash in his sights. Crash is going to fall, and even though they were outnumbered and outmanned at boom off the initial, the way the rotation came through from Simplicity, they get first blood. I believe it was Pell, instantly flood and help with the team fight.
You know what? When we talked about our prediction earlier, I did say Reciprocity to make it out, and you threw me under pressure to say, are we all in agreement on Space Station as well? And I have to do some thinking about it. But my original statement with Reciprocity and Simplicity having that land the week before.
Yeah.
I think that it could be these 2 teams that come out. It definitely could be, and I'm saying this as somebody who wants to see Space Station Gaming, bring in a lot of money to Make-A-Wish Foundation, right? Because that's something that's important to me. But I think these 2 teams, talent-wise, even though so far it's Simplicity in the head, I think Space Station Gaming won't be able to do it.
Well, we'll see Space Station in a little bit, but there's, of course, new weapon placement. It's going to be Insins right up top, death row. 3-0 for Simplicity. Right now, they look like they are in cruise control. Really, no one's stopping Zen. I don't even think he was the player that you pointed out, right? Is the guy that you wanted to see really have a good game. 12-3 as things stand after 3 rounds of game.
So we're going to get some nades on the map as well. So this time it's going to be Reciprocity. They're going to choose to actually bring forward to the fight. They say, hey, we couldn't get it last time. 4v3 fight, Reciprocity with a slight man advantage. But here comes Simplicity. This is the patience that we were talking about. They're actually putting Reciprocity in those Lancer traps that we were kind of talking about. You're going to see 3 members fall from Reciprocity. Simplicity with the nades, with the boom shot, with 4 members down
You
in full
showing
map control.
Reciprocity right now? Because they are being played out the arena. This isn't even close.
Yeah.
This is bad. Oh, well, Reciprocity, they were in Canada last week. It doesn't look like it. Looks like they haven't played a game in months.
It's Simplicity. Sneaky said on that main stage, he's going to come out with that energy, and he says, regardless of what his lifestyle is when it comes down to track and the gym and his personal obligations, he said, even with him being tired on this main stage, if he brings that energy, his team will succeed.
Well, speaking of energy, That definitely seems to be a little bit of a topic. You look at the Reciprocity side of our main stage guy, and it's pretty
Very
quiet over there.
very lackluster.
But my favorite quote from you yourself on a fight night: "Hard to get excited when you're getting your ass beat."
Exactly. It's all fun and games until you get your ass kicked, Ben. You know, you can laugh and you can giggle, but in these situations is that, you know, it's a lot of money on the line, and it's a series. This is what these teams practice for. And I want to highlight that the guy on the main stage who did the interview, Sneak, he says, hey, if I bring that energy, if I bring that excitement, my team can come out. The man hasn't even died yet.
Nope.
5 kills, 6 deaths.
Perfect performance from him. Rotations on point there as well. Now, starting things off there with Reciprocity, it's going to be Lava POV straight off the bat. Bear in mind, Hezzy already with the nades, but a much better start. 1 player, 2 players down now for Simplicity, and a team kill with the nade. If Reciprocity don't win this round, guy,
They need to secure that boom shot. Hezzy's going to get trapped here mid-map. He's going to be the 5th man to fall. So for our new Gears of War viewers at home, at the end of every single round, we add 2 seconds to the respawn timer. We start the game on round 1 and round 7 with 12 seconds. So as the rounds progress, your life becomes that much more important, because if you die out, you may not respawn again. So you have to value it. And on the first round, we're going to see Sneak's going to fall. That was a 20-second respawn round. And Simplicity, once they got slayed off that opening initial fight for the boom shot, they didn't have enough time to respawn up. The other team just walked on over, got that trip cap domination, and that was Reciprocity getting their first round of this match.
And that now sends us to the final round of the first half, a 4-1 advantage for Simplicity. 22-second respawns. I mean, at this point, it's almost damage limitation in the first half for Reciprocity. Yeah. They need to win this next round. You cannot go into the second half 5-1 down. Then you're looking at such a big comeback, guys. It's almost not possible.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you on that, because that's the one thing with Escalation. It's a long game mode, and it's a lot of psychological warfare that goes down as well. When you have those leads in these matches, that's a huge advantage for your team, not just on the scoreboard, but for morale as well.
Great nades there for Pelt. He's going to find Toy, and he said it was important for Reciprocity to win this round. It looks like they may have just been able to do so, unless Sneak kind of perform his namesake.
He has the incense. He's guarding his hill, so he's going to be patient. He's going to spot this player. This player's going to spy him as well. Kobe. But he has the pressure there. He knows that he needs to keep this player off the hill. Beautiful fight. Uses this back wall as covered. He may still have one incense. Don't do it to him. Almost had it.
Very
But did he
close.
buy his team enough time?
Well, that's the question, of course. Boom is still there, and it's Pell. He's fired out both. Now, all of a sudden, Exclusive has to go big for the squad. It's his turn to wait for Zenon to come off spawn. Now, all of a sudden, a 2v4. Unfortunately, though, the trip cap is coming through. It's going to force Simplicity's hand. The touch, I think it's going to be
But you need the kills. This is the Toy, so this is my fault. This is Zenon, actually. You know, I called out Toy because I'm used to Toy playing as this character model Mira. But it's Zenon wall bouncing, just trying to get through, get a touch on the hill to buy his team some time. The question is, they could not do it, but great effort there by Simplicity on a 22-second respawn round to extend it as long as they did. Yep. But Reciprocity, they kept their composure. They closed it out. Now, this at least, don't look at when you won a round. Just look at the scoreboard at the half and say, hey, 4-2, we can come back from this.
Especially after that, right? Down 4-0. You get yourself at least a little bit back into this one. The first round, the second half, just as important as the last one, to be honest. You want to make sure that you're keeping that tempo. Of course, in terms of the second half, our hills are now going to flip. Our respawns back down to 12 seconds. And, of course, no weapons currently on the map.
So, I'm curious, if Reciprocity wins this round and Simplicity has to make a weapon placement, I'm curious if that boom's actually going to go down on that furnace side again. And with it being second half, folks, we're going to have a new set of hills. As we see in the top left-hand corner of your screen, we got the D, E, and F hills. So this is going to require a little bit different strategy out of some of these teams. But most importantly, you always want to at least focus on neutral hill.
The neutral, the fight still going to go down for it, but it's Toy that finds one, cleans up Crash as well. A nice double, and instantly just leaves his teammate there to secure the mid-neutral hill. Instead, it's can they be aggressive? Can they put the pressure right back on Reciprocity?
All right, so you got a 2-hill advantage in favor of Simplicity. Now, with it being 12-second respawn rounds, we usually don't see teams kind of press and get that trip cap domination right away. You look at the right-hand side of your screen, a perfect line across the map. This is a great setup for Simplicity, watching all all angles. They're making out these call-outs, letting their teammates know which side of the map is stacked. They're saying, hey, we got 3 guys on our side. They're saying, drop back. We're going to force them in a trap. Look at the Lancer bullets come from mid-map down that furnace hall, and you see the chain reaction of downs. Lava just trying to crawl to his teammates, but the pressure comes through. Misroll by Sneak, trying to make the best of it. He gets a trade, but was it worth it?
Exclusive's going to be left scrambling for his life now as Simplicity needs to just play a little bit of defense, and it's going to be Exclusive. Can he find the double almost?
He's still alive, though, Ben. Playing his life.
Oh, now the pinch is coming through as well.
The Lancer comes out. This is great work. They need to cross the pile. They need to get at least one more down.
Beautiful play. Beautiful play from Exclusive.
Great
keeping
teamwork.
his distance, and then that quick flank that comes through.
That was smart gameplay. Smart Gears of War gameplay, and I gotta praise it and give it credit when I see it, because I don't see enough of that team fire. Teams recognizing it when they have a man advantage and when they don't, to back up, calling for help.
Yep.
I loved everything I saw out of that push.
2-to-1 hill
out of that
advantage now
defensive stand.
for Reciprocity, as the mid hill will be decapped, and Toy shuts down Pell, so Simplicity will once again take control of this round. To be able to maybe find an opening to pressure on the home hill of Reciprocity. For now, it doesn't seem that way. More than happy to sit on this 2-to-1 hill advantage.
You know, so as a player, for me, any time where I felt the most pressure playing is when a team was constantly lancering out my squad, you know, because whenever you feel like every time you pop out of cover, especially in a third-person cover-based game, you pop out of cover and it's always shots over top of you. You're always taking damage. Those are the most stressful matches.
Oh, Zenon.
Ooh, Reciprocity, even in the end, just when it was looking grim for them, they still managed to come out. It was a close game all the way through, but they closed it out. But any time where, I was playing in matches and, you know, the opposite team was just team firing me, they hit great lancers, great crosses, was the most stressful matches, because it's hard to kind of break those setups, and that just means that you're playing against a team that has discipline, that knows when to plant their feet and pull out those lancers, that know how to rotate around the map as a unit. So that's the easiest intimidation factor that you can have when you play against somebody.
That one very, very close in the series that we thought was going to be probably one of the better ones of the day. Of course, it isn't necessarily lose and go home in pool play. You can still go through with a loss, but boy, oh boy, would you rather just go 2-0 and secure yourself rather than maybe looking at tiebreakers and other random potential outcomes that could occur. But for Exclusive, his 12th kill comes through already. First blood in this round, and of course, Simplicity looking to try and put themselves back in the driver's seat. But Exclusive not able to shut down Crash. He took a shot to give a shot, and of course now they have Boom, but Sneak trying to be sneaky, finds one. Can he get the second on Lover? He can. A 1v2, and he buys his teammate time once again. Sneak having a hell of a game.
Yes.
Hell of a game from this man right now.
And he's going to stay alive, drop that smoke behind him to take the pressure off. Also to stun that guy. He hasn't been able to get his life back because he keeps taking bullets, but...
I thought he read it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to up A it and chunk that player. Almost got him, but Sneak, he extended that round for his team. Simplicity able to come off respawn, get control over their home hill, and kind of have a base of operations for them to move out of comfortably and get set up on other areas of the map.
Pressure coming in to E though. It seems for now as if Simplicity wanted to crash with a double with the
One more boom.
That's going to help. As you got to be careful here. Collapse could come through. Crash, and that's about as free as you're ever going to get. 3 kills with that boom. Staying alive as well as Crash. As Zenon wants to try and get down and dirty, but Soto keeps his distance, doesn't allow it. And the hill back in their control.
Good work for Crash. Recognize his teammates behind him. Say, hey, you know what? I just got 3 kills. That's a win for my team. If I play my life, that's another win. Take a 2v1 situation. Don't let that guy get a free kill on you and have a 1v1 situation and negate the 3-man advantage you just put your team up in. So now it's going to be Simplicity on their back heels, the pressure coming in from Reciprocity towards middle map. You see the blue outlines and the X-ray characters. You see the setup on the side of Reciprocity. This is going to be a 2v3 fight. Exclusive just trying to sneak on in through the side of that smoke and get some positioning.
115-84, 2-to-1 hills in favor of Reciprocity to tie things up. It was an abysmal start. They went down 4-0.
Double down.
Now they're looking to try and win 4 rounds in a row themselves. Tie things up here in game 1 of this best of 3. Toy drops as well, but 5 should come through. Exclusive is there. Keep your eye on that score, though, Guy. We're getting a little closer to that 210-point mark.
Great awareness from Simplicity in his team fights and in these pressure situations, making sure that they revive their teammates when they go down. Now, you got a player being sneaky, but the boom shot will find vital. And yeah, in those situations, you got to let your teammates know when you're weak and you feel like you're about to go down. So if you get the timing right and you have that chemistry with your teammate, they can spam X and get you up right away and have you right back in that fight with full health. That was a weird one, but that boom is not going to be able to do anything. And it may just be a blessing in disguise gifted from the Gears guys to Reciprocity, because they're going to survive. They're going to survive this battle in their home for now.
100% they should, unless someone from Simplicity is just able to produce a moment of brilliance.
I was going to say, I'm all about the wide flank on the other end of the map and just let your teammates have to deal with these heals. But this is Toy saying, I got to back up and at least defend this E-hill. He wanted to wrap around that spawn, but just not enough time. Somebody needs to get to that home hill of Reciprocity. Yeah. And folks, Reciprocity, after being down 4-0 to start this matchup, they win 4 in a row to tie this one up and make it a series.
Well, just when I was saying it looks like they haven't played in months,
yeah.
The tables turn, and all of a sudden Simplicity are the ones that look lost.
Also, granted, for the first match of a tournament, this is a kind of unique situation because typically we'll start in the evening about 2 p.m., you know, live. Yeah. These players got their whole morning to wake up. Yeah, it's typically on a Friday, but this is a Saturday morning. We got 2 12-hour days of Gears of War back to back. And, you know, these players get up 8 a.m., and get ready for this matchup. But, hey, you know.
I'll tell you, that ain't gamer hours.
Yeah, it definitely ain't gamer hours, but it's definitely adult hours, all right? Yeah, and if gaming is your career, then I'm pretty sure these players were up at least at 5 a.m. getting ready and getting prepared for these matches.
You know, I hope so. I hope so for their sake. Crash, 18 kills. Pell, 18 kills. Both of them having a great game so far, but as it stands, doesn't matter. The scoreboard.
Got to give some love to Exclusive on the Reciprocity side. 16 kills, 10 downs, 11 deaths, but still, the 16 kills and the 10 downs just shows that he's spawning up and he's being super productive to his team and always putting himself in some power situations.
Oh, Sneak went for the sniper rifle, was able to grab it, but it does go down. That the kill should be cleaned up. It was, but Toy did manage to get his hands on the prize. At the other side of the map, it's Boom. Unfortunately, not going to find the second. Still a 2v2 over towards E.
So for our new fans, our power weapons, they have they spawned up off their respawn timers. To just give you guys a good example, our boom shot is on a 2-minute respawn timer. Our sniper and our nades and our M-bar is on 1 minute and 30, as well as all secondary weapons. Only weapons on 2-minute respawn timers are frag grenades, boom shots, and drop shots. Any weapon that goes boom, pretty much.
As he was sniped, forced to back away. He was in a pretty good position. Landed a few shots, but no kills. Now the rotation comes through once again. Simplicity 0 hill control. And
so we
pass the sniper, of course.
Yeah, he's gonna pass it to the Zen, and we talked about this, right? I said, you know, I want to see some of his marksmanship in this matchup to make plays for his team. This Simplicity roster can slow the game down very, very well. That's typically what you see of teams who kind of prefer the long shot, the M-bar. Why? Because they're gonna let that guy pick off some players off cover, try to catch some people off guard, and use that as an opening to make these plays.
But here's the thing: if you're Reciprocity, you have a 2-to-1 hill advantage. This is all fine and dandy playing this way when you have the lead. If you're gonna rely on a pick and no one peeks, that pick's never gonna come.
Exactly.
You need someone to almost bait out a little bit, play a little bit bait, like, all right, I'm going to be aggressive here, see if I can maybe open up a shot for you to give us a free advantage and then try and put the pressure on.
So in Gears of War 4, outside some of the other Gears of War games, and we can say in escalation mode in general, your snipers can't be as passive as they used to be. You have to be a mobile sniper. You have to be able to take that sniper and rotate around the map and go find angles. You're going to see Sneak actually pick up a second snipe on the other side of the map, and he's going to find a headshot across on Pale. So that's going to be 2 snipers in the hand of Simplicity, and they're going to have the man advantage. But Sneak, get them lost in La La Land, and that's one of those situations where you just in the scope and you're sniping, and I like to call it you get lost in the sauce, so to speak, and you know, you're just going to get snuck up on every single time.
Well, the map should be set up well and truly for Simplicity. Another boom in their hands. Team kill comes through. Numerical advantage. It's down.
The booms on this side of the map. This is a big fight.
Can't lose it, as he will go down. And once again, Reciprocity will survive. And bear in mind, the overextension just came through towards the other home hill of F. And Reciprocity, just when you think they're down and out, they just produce a moment of brilliance almost and keep themselves alive.
I want to say we've seen Reciprocity on this side of the map. Actually, yeah, Reciprocity on this side of the map. Actually, yeah, my fault. Simplicity shoot 2 bad booms, you know. They've had
three bad booms.
Yeah, it's been 3 bad booms wasted on that side, and which could have translated into 2 round wins for them, to be honest. It just didn't work out for them.
And once again, Reciprocity now 2-1 hill advantage and the point lead for them. If Simplicity want to slow this down, they'll take it. They'll take it at this point. You know, it is Simplicity that need to be the aggressors here. They need to be the ones pushing. And this could well be that push. Sneak leading the charge for Simplicity. Teammates all around Zen with first blood of what is going to be a crucial team fight. There's the second. Sneak shuts down Pell. The numerical advantage is there. How is Simplicity going to play it, though? Do they want to overextend towards D? Have someone maybe play a little sneaky? That seems to be the play. F is going to be decapped, as is D. For now, Reciprocity still can win this round.
Yeah, D, they just need to protect their home hill no matter what they do. This is a big 1v1 that needs to be won as well. Now it's just 15 points left. It's going to have to start with Toy. Lava's going to get that down. You need to step on the hill at 2:06, 3 seconds. They need a player in there. Can they get it? They cannot. They have a few hills capped up. Reciprocity 5 rounds in a row.
And that's such a smart play from Lava. He overextends in the midst of what could have been a crazy team fight over towards E. He decaps, wins a massive 1v1, and then gets a little bit of extra team support just to make sure that they hold on to the other team's home hill. 5 rounds, back to back now. Simplicity, where is that momentum? Where is it gone?
Whew, man, Simplicity, you know, they're definitely quiet on that side of the stage currently. Still playing around that boom shot, still have their snipers on the map. They may put down some extra support weapons as well. Now, the hammer burst. In these courtyards, the courtyards have great sight lines to the top end of your map towards that death row area where that sniper spawned and where we hit our neutral hill in the first half of the game. And we started to see a little bit of slower play style with both these teams. So that hammer burst is a burst rifle, and it just beams. Very long range capabilities, and you get 2 bursts on somebody, they will fall.
It started so well for Simplicity, a 4-0 lead.
Needs to be a headshot, though.
Fine and dandy until Reciprocity win 5 in a row, looking to make it 6 and put them at map point. We'll start off with Pelt, 22 kills, 17 deaths so far on this map. Well, I guess we'll tally up another one there in the death column as Toy Soldier does find first blood. E-Hill, that's the fight that we want to watch. A couple more kills coming now from Simplicity, but can they get the full team wipe? That's the question. Crash is going to be traded down, and down falls Lava, all 5 dead. Is there enough time to get that trick cap domination?
It is, you know, but if I'm exclusive, I might even be kind of being sneaky, or have one of my teammates being sneaky on the other side of the map trying to, oh, no respect. That's a no respect up A. They're trying to get another one.
Well, it's going to be 2. Boom has been grabbed as well. The round surely now is over. It's going to require a miracle almost from Reciprocity. Toy trying to just body plug Lava. Lava will fall, and Simplicity finally stop the bleeding. They level things up, 5 rounds apiece.
For you fans at home who are new to Gears of War, when you guys hear us say up A as a term, it's a term for an advanced movement within the game that players use in fights on cover.
Weapon placement now, heading into round 11. It's going to be the block mid-map. That's what's being hovered. I mean, you agree? Disagree here, Guy? How you feeling about the way the map is set up so far, considering we are at that 5-5?
I don't mind a block and mid-map if Simplicity, if Reciprocity wants to do that. The reason why, Simplicity had a lot of furnace hall control in the first half of those matches, especially when they went up 4-0. They had a great split between 2 furnace, 2 fighting for that boom. They were able to be patient, acquire those nades, use that to get the power weapon as well. Reciprocity say, hey, you know what? We don't want to worry too much about you guys getting free weapons there. If you want to get the sniper or the boom shot, you're going to have to come out into open and fight for them with the rest of your team.
Which Respawn's getting up there now as well. Bear that in mind. Unbelievably close game to start things off as Home actually be over towards the left-hand side. All of a sudden, Simplicity, there's a huge chink in the armor, if you will, to the setup in the initial fight over towards E. Pell has to scramble, more kills coming through. Advantage, Simplicity, 4 players dead. It's all on Pell. And of course, Sneak has the sniper.
They know it's a player over in this area somewhere. They're going to actually get a mark on Pell. Sneak makes a decision saying, hey, you know what? Let me try to go for this cross. He's going to get a mark on Pell, but he's not watching the spawn. Getting lost in the sauce again. And what I like to say, and Sneak is alive so far. He's starting to run away on the other end. This E-Hill gets decapped, so no trip cap domination happening just yet. So on the Simplicity side, we may see them actually choose to go for a home hill setup, maybe. But no, they're not. They're going to be patient. They're going to control their home hill, which is the D hill.
But just think about what just happened. Simplicity had 4 players dead. 4 players dead.
Yep.
Pell wins a 1v1, rotates all the way across the map, decaps neutral. While all that is happening, Simplicity don't really do anything. They just kind of sat maybe a little too slow there.
But what I can give Simplicity credit for was holding the boom shots that they acquired in that round. They didn't cap the hills up right away because they were trying to play for that.
No, I'm saying after you get 4 down,
yeah.
The other team has 4 dead,
yeah.
And you're going to allow one player to win a 1v1, decap your home hill, then decap mid-neutral hill. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not, but that's the clutch factor on that player. You know, it's hard to, he was in 1v1 situations and he clutched up and he won rounds, but ultimately Simplicity being patient with those boom shots, they held them off, and they're going to get that round on the board. They're going to be at match point.
Yes, they will. Simplicity finally playing a little bit more aggressive. Seems like they weren't controlling the pace really at the end of the first half and the start of the second. Now the table turn, momentum back in their favor.
All right, you see Simplicity, Toy, bringing that energy to his roster. They got off to a great start. I don't know if they take off. Yeah, they may actually, you know what? Reciprocity may take Snipe off the map. Why? Reason being, because they know how many great sharpshooters is on the other side between Sneak and Zenith. Sure. So changing that out, I agree with it. Also, you can't throw an incendiary grenade from that side of the map all the way over towards the furnace, but you can snipe from that distance. So if somebody did win a 1v1 and pick it up, you have to be careful with picking up that boom shot as well. So
many high kill slayers on the Simplicity squad here in map number 1. 25 kills, 26, and 26. Good performance from them, but it isn't over just yet. They are at map point. And when we find, imagine, first map of the tournament goes round 13.
Woo!
We're in for a hell of a weekend,
way.
folks.
And folks, if you're just joining us, hey, we said it beforehand. Only 2 teams making it out of each pool. It's 3 teams in each one. And after that, it's a single elimination bracket. High octane Gears of War action all week.
Real scrappy fight. It's a 3v2. It's now a 3v1. Right to left, scrambling away, but Simplicity, they smell blood. They want to close this round out as quickly as they can. Vital may just have done enough.
You're going to see Vital chasing a 1v1, saying that my team needs it, utilizing that cover system. Oh, can't get in close enough to get a finishing blow.
But his team's alive.
Yeah.
And that is all that matters so far, but the pressure is going to come through so fast from Simplicity. Trying to choke Reciprocity out. Decap through. Now do they want to try and push for the trip cap? Zenon goes down, so they'll have to maybe rethink. Smoke is still there. Reciprocity have to be careful they don't stack it. Maybe Pell could be the one to try and make the play as he overextends. Toy's going to chase. Pell will touch the hill, so no trip cap just yet.
But he's getting chased down by Toy. He's like, all right, I'm waiting for you this time. Now, Toy, he should just stay in the hill. He should cap up E, and he should not chase this player. But he is going to chase him back because Pell, he's on their side of the map. Hezzy's going to actually be able to take him down. But this is going to leave an opening for Crash. But Crash is going to choose not to actually go for the home hill of Simplicity. He's going to work with his teammates to cap up the neutral hill, and that's going to be a good play. Why? Your team's the only one that's getting points. Secure the 2 cap first, get map control, then you push in for that domination.
And Reciprocity's rotation game, just in this round alone, is showing you why they're able to survive in such unlikely scenarios. Again, another 4 dead situation, and Reciprocity with just 1 player alive prolong the round. You saw what Sam was able to do. Didn't even necessarily pick up a kill that time, but still prolongs the round so much that it seems Reciprocity now on points are about to take the lead.
So the one thing with rotations as well, when we talk about rotations, we talk about how your team moves around the map. Understanding where the majority of the numbers of your opponent are with your team, and rotating players to either get a man up, counteract that, and moving as a unit. The faster your rotations means the quicker you can catch your opponent off guard. How do you get quicker rotations? You have to think faster, make the call outs, call the numbers at all times. Gears of War at its most competitive level, it's just a numbers game.
Yep.
They have 3 people over here. We have 2 people, not a bad fight. We have 3, they have 2. We should be able to push this fight and win it. And being able to understand those situations as soon as possible will increase your team's gameplay tenfold.
And that's where you have to give a lot of love, of course, over towards Reciprocity, their coach. Infinity, very, very good coach. One of the best. Here's to see maybe if we ever go to a listening with them throughout this weekend, maybe what is being said from him.
Yeah, and you know, Affinity, former Gears of War professional player. I've been playing against this cat for about 10 years or so, since back in the 2007 days, and he's been a strategist. Even when I used to play against him, he was an ultimate strategist, and you know, a team full of young guns like Reciprocity, he's bringing that veteran knowledge, composure, and leadership to him.
As it stands, 181 to 154. Simplicity, 2-1 hill advantage as well. In all honesty, this could be it. And his Crash is able to find one, but has to trade out his teammate's life as well. Time is of the essence. Crash going to have to hold that in. Simpel's going to go down, and Simplicity,
They need to get the F.
They've done enough. Barring some crazy play here from Simplicity, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Simplicity take map number 1 in our first best of 3 series here at the charity.
Coming out firing off with all cylinders, Ben. They went up 4-0. Reciprocity, they started to get back in that matchup. They started to come back. I know their momentum was increasing, but Simplicity, they put the final nail in the coffin.
Simplicity looked like they came out. They were going to the buffet. They were hungry. They got those first 4 rounds. And then all of a sudden, Reciprocity comes out there with the check. They say, hey, you got to pay up. But Simplicity was ready.
Yeah,
they could pay that tab. They could cover that fee.
They said, oh, yeah, I got to put it on the black card, baby.
Hey, go ahead real quick. I want to know, what was the story of that first map to you, Ryan?
So the story of map 1 is what we talked about in the pregame, right? Weapon placements and initials. And to our new viewers, what an initial is basically the initial fight in the round, or the beginning of the round, right? That dictates a lot of kind of how the map's going to flow and how the round's going to flow. In this case, we talked about the boom placement. First 2 rounds in, quickly place a boom in laundry. Second half starts, 1 round in, quickly place a boom in laundry. So what you're seeing is the big correlation this time between the initial and the round win. Only, I think, 2 of these rounds were actually won on time rather than trip caps, because when you're fighting for a power weapon like that, when you're fighting for a thing like boom shot, you have to kind of send the whole team there on both sides. At that point, if you win that initial fight, because so many people are there, you're likely wiping their team, and at that point, you can go right for the trip cap.
And for you guys that's following at home, he called it laundry or furnace, depending on what you're looking at on that mini map, because I know Slab's a new map. Some people might not be familiar with that term.
And I love how we got a focal point of the matchup where you got that boom placement down, as Ryan's saying. You kind of force these teams to play for a specific weapon. You get a focal point on the map. You say, can our team take your team? And we believe we've got the better team right now. And I think going into map number 2, they've got a little bit of an edge. They got the game they wanted. They got the plan they wanted. Talk to me about that, Blaze. If you got a map like that and you go up 4 rounds, then you all of a sudden start to lose control, then you get that stranglehold back on and close it out, do you feel better or do you feel worse?
Oh, you know what? It's like just a relief. It's like, oh my God, we closed it out, because you go up and you win 4 rounds, you win 5 rounds, your team is on an extreme high. If a team came back, your team goes to an extreme low. So it is a moment of relief to win that map and to keep that momentum up there, and that's going to be good for Simplicity.
And what we will talk about is the new maps, right? That was a new map, and out of the 3 newest maps, I've seen Slab kind of practice the least, and that was Simplicity's pick, because they were Locust. So now what I will say coming to map 2 with Foundation is that this is kind of Reciprocity's comfort zone. They're one of the best Foundation teams in the game, in my opinion. So I think for them, you know, don't panic, right? You lost the first map. It's a new map. That's fine. You have Foundation coming up. Now's your chance to even out the series and show why you feel like you're one of the best teams in the world.
Down 1 maps to none. Reciprocity has their backs a little bit against the wall here early on Saturday, but they've got all the pressure in the world on their shoulders because, again, they're fighting for something much bigger than themselves. They've got a charity that they're going to be looking out for. That's Gamers Outreach. They want to do big things for that charity, get a great finish here, try to get some money to them. Gamers Outreach supports kids and teens throughout the healing process as they undergo treatment in hospitals. They equip nurses and child life specialists with the means to make activities and technology accessible. Through their go-kart programs, Gamers Outreach brings portable, medical-grade video game kiosks that enable hospital staff to easily provide bedside recreation to children who are unable to leave their rooms at hospitals. And if that doesn't give you any more motivation than you need, it's for the kids, right? Got to do it for the kids. I think Reciprocity has to figure out in this second map what they have to do. And Benson, you were talking about... You were talking early in that map, and you're going to see what going into the second map that we're going to see possibly a different game plan going into it? Do you think Reciprocity has to change but so much?
I mean, different game plan, different map, right? I think Ryan kind of hit the nail on the head there. This is a map they're extremely comfortable on because of their play style. Don't say, all right, we lost map 1, panic button, and start flying. Play your own game. That's all you have to do. You should, honestly, be able to level this up 1-1. Then we go to another game, a diner, I think it was, game 3. That's where things are going to get spicy. That's where things are going to get a little interesting, in my opinion. But for me, this should be 1-1. I kind of expected Simplicity to come out a little quicker, but I think we're going to game 3.
So we're going to see if Reciprocity can figure it out. Let's learn a little bit more about them as we go into map 2.
I think to beat Simplicity tomorrow, 10 a.m. bright and early, really just show up, play our game, bring the energy right off the bat. That match is a must-win for us, so it's very important that we bring the energy and just right out the gate. My goal for this tournament is always to come out and win, just shock the world, the community. Every match we can just bring it to a team. We can be the best overall team in the game in any given match. That's how I honestly feel. I know we can beat anyone if we play like that.
Reciprocity, a team that thinks they can beat anybody when they're playing on their game, and they've got to get onto their game here in map 2. We're going to go into Foundation. I love that pick for a team like that. You can see all smiles right now on that Simplicity side. Reciprocity looking like they're trying to think a little bit more about this, trying to mull it over.
One thing I do want to point out, because obviously we have Ryan on the desk and you're this wealth of knowledge for Gears of War. I touched a little bit on Affinity as a coach. I know Guy mentioned it back in his playing days, but what realistically does he bring? Because coaches have so many different styles. I know you and Ash, you can't compare the two as coaches. You're both very, very different. What's Affinity's type of coach? What does he bring to the table?
Yeah, so Affinity's so unique kind of for the pro scene and for our coaches, because Affinity is actually one of the only coaches who really, truly is an in-game leader. When I say that is, he's actively calling strat after strat. He's actively calling rotation. He's actively calling things that, for a lot of other top teams, like my old team, for example, or for Optic Gaming, they have players like Explosive, players like Fran, who are natural strategists, right? If you look at Reciprocity, they don't really have an in-game leader on their team, right? They don't have anyone that's a commanding voice per se. That's what Affinity brings to the table. He brings years and years of experience, years and years of leadership and playing at the highest level.
I feel like the players really, really respect him as well. Sometimes you see coaches where players are like, I don't know about that one,
Stopwatch, baby. Human stopwatch.
I don't know. You want me to OE? You sure about that one? I don't know about that one. Whereas it seems like all the players give him a ton of respect.
Let's see if that IGL can help them win. Foundation, here we go. Blaze, Benson, take it away, boys.
You already know coming in. Ryan mentioned it.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of their better maps here for Reciprocity. This should be a win.
And I do want to make another comment on Affinity because, you need different coaches for different reasons. And most importantly, it's just understanding what are the team's needs. And, to have a coach that can actually be respected as an IGL, even though he's not playing, is an important thing because he's going to see things differently. And you have to respect the opinion because some coaches can make the call out and you will say, hey, you know what? You really don't kind of know what you're talking about. Just keep tracking the timers. Let me know the numbers.
You got your phone out there? Is the stopwatch going? All right, let me know when boom's up. That's all you got to do.
So, but it is coaches out there who can play that role. You just got to respect them.
Right, you most definitely do. Already, though, Simplicity, the blue team, we expected maybe to be more of a Reciprocity control. The pressure definitely on, though. And Sneak, he had a fantastic first round, of course, of map number 1, 5-0. He's already 2-0 here in Foundation. 2-1 hill advantage as well for Simplicity. They're back in the driver's seat.
I also want to say as well, too, you got to think about it in the minds of Reciprocity. They probably come in and say, hey, all right, Space Station is going to be our toughest competition. We need to make sure we really got to win that match later, but we need to 100% beat Simplicity. Probably coming into this one saying, all right, team, we're super confident this is going to be a guaranteed win. And Simplicity, they're fighting back.
And there's a thing about confidence, right?
Yeah.
You have to be confident. Then there's delusional confidence, which is where you're just crazy confident. You stop giving respect to teams that maybe you should respect, right? If you come in and say, all right, Space Station's the only one, forget Simplicity. We're not worried about Simplicity. And then you come in and Simplicity win map 1, and that doubt starts to come through in your mind. Map 2 is like, did we mess up here? Maybe you didn't plan enough. Maybe there wasn't enough prep. But as it stands, it is Simplicity in the lead.
I'm just saying, I pulled the best pools ever, so anywho.
You actually do, though.
We've had some exciting tournaments on those pools because it all starts with that on fight night just to see what type of matchups that we're going to have. So you're going to see this rotation of Reciprocity top tables now. They're going to rotate this direction. Why? Because they lost the initial mid-map. And so usually when you lose that team fight mid-map, the last few players alive are your home hill players who just capped the home hill, playing a little bit passive up top. Then that player starts to get aggressive, and all players off respawn starts fighting for the home hills and starts fighting for real estate on a different area of the map off the initial, because it's not going to be that many players there. So you want to rotate to that spot as soon as possible. And this was a rotation that we saw Reciprocity make top tables for both home hills. And now they're kind of getting pinched, but they're going to start to move out through bottom close and maybe make a fight on this B hill.
Just a quick update from Pool C. I know your prediction was Fable might come above LATAM Kings. It's LATAM Kings 1-0 up in the series and 4-3 up in map 2.
Woo.
So maybe the love and faith we had in Fable might have been wrongly placed. But back to this one. Simplicity, Reciprocity. The first game on main stage. Simplicity 1 map up. And in the first round here, looking good. 2-1 hill advantage, numerical advantage. Vital the only man up, and they're knocking on the door of a true cap domination.
All right, here you go. You're going to see the domination starting to come through. Simplicity looking to get their first round on the board in map number 2. The question is, can they do it? Reciprocity looking to break on through. Crash, he's going to find exclusive. Soto finds a kill as well. It's going to be a 2-man advantage for Reciprocity, using his time to take control over top tables, decap the home hill, try to stop the points.
Oh, no. They've just turned the tide completely. Now it's Reciprocity. Look at it steal the round from right underneath Simplicity's nose. A beautiful, beautiful counterattack almost. They're getting trip capped. 1 man alive, buys time, and they instantly just disperse on the map.
In a span of about 20 seconds.
One goes mid-neutral, one instantly pushed. I believe it was Crash, went straight to their home hill. They leave their own home hill for first off spawn. And even on a low respawn round, like 12 seconds, they get a quick flurry of kills, and they punish. Beautiful, beautiful play right there.
Yeah, you know, it just shows you how quickly the tide can turn in escalation, right?
Round's never over till it's over.
It was all 4 of those players like coming off that respawn, and it was a team push to their home hill through mid-map and top tables, and they worked as a unit, and they got that trip cap domination in 30 seconds. And that's on the lowest respawn round we have at 12. We start at 12 seconds, so it just, you know, didn't work out for them. But it didn't work out on the side of Simplicity. It worked out for Reciprocity, and Simplicity gets the first weapon placement. They're going to choose to put some hammerbursts down to fight for that pistol.
So I feel like they're the rounds which upset players the most, right? You have the round won. It's over. The round is yours. It's got a little bow tie around it as well. And all of a sudden, you manage to just drop the ball completely. And as Reciprocity steal round 1. And into round 2, though. Have a look at Sneaky's perspective. He's only 5-2. In this one, as he backs away, they actually stop and claim his home.
You see, once they noticed that they couldn't get that neutral hill, Toy pushed across in his 1v1. They're going to trap out, isolate that player, take him out. Toy gets to the home hill. They're looking to isolate another, but they're going to control both these home hills top tables. Why? They lost the fight mid-map, and they knew that this was their best chance to get some points on the board.
Bring it on. Just locks in that 2-1 hill advantage, and for Reciprocity at this point, you make B hill your mid-neutral.
On a map like Foundation, typically you can run multiple different setups where the most common one is the middle hill in your home hill. That's a 2-hill setup, and that's the easiest and most common one you could do early game. But you also have home hill setups where you just control the area of the map, and we like to call it that home street, the straight line that kind of connects both home hills, because they're kind of laid out in a triangle across the board when you look at the mini map. But you can control this top table area and not have to play for B if you choose not to. This is a map where you can play for your home and neutral or home hills on both the first half of the game and the second half. So that creates a lot of versatility and strategy for teams. So if they find themselves in difficult situations, they always should have a game plan to get out of it.
Much better round number 2 there from Reciprocity. Didn't really allow Simplicity to get too much control. Instead of that, just close the round out relatively quickly. Second weapon placement. Now, will we just see that boom down bottom middle, try and make this fight as scrappy as possible, cause some chaos, and see if Simplicity can start winning some rounds here.
All right, so like you said, the boom is going to get placed down mid-map, and that's going to force a big 3v3, 4v4 style team fight where that is, if you get first blood, high chance your team comes out on top of that boom shot. Why? Because the trades would be so close. Because as soon as there's 4 players there, you just got to isolate your 2v1s and then play your numbers at that point. First blood goes in hands of Reciprocity. They play their numbers. They should be able to close out and win mid-map. But just like that, Simplicity, they find a double. Another kill gets traded out. And now this is just a brawl for the boom shot.
Soto and Powell, the only 2 up here for Reciprocity, is Soto wants to try and isolate a 1v1. Oi, he's having absolutely none of that as he shuts down Pell. Boom is theirs. Soto not in position to defend it at all. He's getting 2v1'd himself. He drops another fantastic start to this round.
All right. Take a look at the scoreboard. It is 0-0. Now it's going to be Simplicity to cap their neutral hill and their home hill. This is Simplicity running the home hill setup. Let's look at the overhead map for a second. I want you to see the angle. If you kind of make an angle from A hill to the B hill, you can kind of see that setup across the map as they try to cover these areas. So they got Reciprocity trapped in their home hill. They're going to be patient because these are lower respawn rounds, but they got to be careful. Why? The boom shot, it was on a 2-minute respawn timer. It's spawning up in less than a minute 15. So you're going to have to be wary of that. And Simplicity they're starting to make their push to control that bottom area of the map.
Puts himself in a good little spot to at least put some damage down, but it's now just him and Pelt. Last two alive. A couple players coming off spawn, but you can see the intent from Simplicity. They want their first round here on the board. Trip Cap coming through now. Lava's trying to scramble to B. That was where the resources were being sent. They're not going to be able to decap. And Simplicity do now win their first round here in map 2.
All right. Here we go, Simplicity. They're going to get their first round on the board.
Keep it up. Good shit, Ryan. Good shit, staying there.
All right. Have to bring out my timer so we can start keeping track of this boom shot on the map. Understand the rotations that these teams made.
Looking at the next weapon placement. Reciprocity's first. So far, Insin's down low. Could be the shout.
Definitely can be. You have typically it's going to be a 1v1 for those instants on that side of the map and statue. Your 1v1, it's a quick 2-step to your left or your right, depending on what side you're playing to. Right on down to that closed, and you can use those instants for fight in the fight for that boom shot. So definitely a big help if you can win that. And on the other side, where that B hill is, and on the next weapon placement, we might see a team put a sniper there or nades in that area as well. And that's another 1v1 fight that can change the impact of this boom shot. So if you can't win a team fight middle, make sure you put your best 1v1 players on the end to make sure they can get you those weapons to support you in that big boom shot fight.
Oh, the big boom shot fight, it was Vital that tried to quick pick it. He pays the price with his life as Lava also managed to find a couple of kills. Lava's going to get another. His second in the round. He was on a donut up until the beginning of this, where, as I said, he does find 2. As he sneaks, still alive though for Simplicity. This round is by no means over.
Definitely not at all. So that's 4 down on the side of Simplicity. They're going to lose another player. Currently, we're going to be in 18-second respawns for the round. A 2-hill advantage going in favor of Reciprocity. So it was Vital that picked up the boom shot, but he traded it to Soto. Insin's going to be used. That's going to be another advantage for Reciprocity. Just need to play their numbers in this situation.
Lava desperately just trying to crawl away, and the cover fire from Soto so important. Allows his teammate to get up, and that's a great boom. Zenon will full. Trip Cap domination once again, knocking in for Reciprocity, and still with another boom in hand. Soto doesn't miss those. Hezi goes down. Trip Cap in from Reciprocity. They are well and truly in the driver's seat here in Foundation.
Yeah, they really are. And they're feeling cool, calm, collected. You got Lava standing up at the end of every round, making sure his teammates say, give me that dap, keep the positivity up, keep the energy up. This should be an easy match for us. But the Simplicity roster is different than what they used to be. They've learned a lot. These guys have been through a lot. They've stuck together. And they've had some hardships as a roster. You know, they had some devastating losses. But as a team, if you can come back from that, it will make you stronger.
Most definitely will. 20-second respawn now. Glance at the scoreboard. You know, I gave Soto a ton of props in that last round just for the way he played, essentially, his positioning and how important it was. Lava stays alive. 14 kills, by the way, 5 deaths, leading the lobby in terms of kills. He's having a hell of a map.
All right, let's see. We're going to have a 1v1s for both nades, as I said, on each end. So if you have talented 1v1 players in these spots, you can get some nades for the big boom shot fight. Boom's picked up by Toy. He's going to shoot a boom, missed the first one. Crash coming in for the save. Toy not able to use that boom shot to pick up a double down low, but Sneak's going to grab the nades and find a kill as well. Insins are still on a map that have not been picked up just yet, and it's currently going to be a 3v3 situation for both teams.
Toy rotates it towards Zenon. Spots Vital over towards C, trying to cap that home hill. Never mind. Zenon does have the instant. Not going to connect with the kill, but does allow a little bit more pressure now as he goes for the impressive Kobe. That one probably looked better in his head than it did practically.
Yeah, definitely probably did. You know, he was assuming that a player was going to be trying to hide in that corner and be patient, but it was a risky throw. He could have had a higher percentage chance of getting killed, maybe using that nade to protect the home hill off the next push, you know? Definitely can get more.
But hey, I respect it. I respect it. Sometimes you got to be creative. Sometimes you got to go for the flashy stuff.
You do. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Ben.
Exactly that. Once again, Simplicity rotating over towards the mid-neutral hill. It will be theirs to claim. If they want to stay there, as Mel's going to be punished. As he with one, he tracks back. So 2-1 hill advantage, back in favor of Simplicity. They're going to keep running that lead.
So all power weapons under a minute on the respawn timer. We got 40 seconds to boom, 30 seconds to incense, and we got 47 seconds to frag grenades. Now, at this point, if you find yourself in a situation and the score is under 100, definitely start setting up for these power weapons. There's still plenty of time on the clock. Even with Simplicity having a 2-hill advantage, you need to make a decision on which one of these power weapons you want first. Incense are going to be up first, and it looks like Reciprocity has the coaching to understand that, because they're going to get these incense and use these incense to get boom shot, which is going to spawn up 10 seconds after that. Frag grenades on this area of the map at the B hill, that's 15 seconds. So a lot of weapons up. You're going to have to make good use of them. So this is Reciprocity.
And it basically becomes a chess game at this point.
They're going to choose not to get the incense, going straight for the boom. They say boom timer is going to be more important.
Crash has the incense. Yep. Crash has the incense in handy. Was he waiting and using it just as you so rightfully told to secure the boom pick. They're not going to get nades, but so much utility earned from Reciprocity just by setting up early, getting ready, and really waiting for the fight to commence.
All right, that nade's going to connect. Zenin making good use of it. They're going to be able to get another down, too, as well. Hezzy, he gets the meat shield, the team fire across the map. They're actually going to be able to down Pale. Flink coming in on the other side. It's lava. It's Crash. We're going to see they may have that boom on the end. Looking to push on up. And, folks, we got a score update from our side station. It's LatAm Kings winning 2-0 against Fable.
Maybe they really are the kings of LatAm. Maybe there's going to be a new king maybe after this weekend. I look at Ryan, he's like, no, don't you even dare say it.
He says,
such slander.
Wait till the camera gets back on me.
Soto, last man up momentarily. Of course, you can see the score. This one, done and dusted. 208, 149. They don't even need the trip cap. Simplicity, another good round win from them. Is this closer than you thought it was going to be in Foundation?
Well, nah, I knew this was going to be a close series because, in my eyes, both these teams are evenly matched.
Okay.
You know, I don't think Reciprocity has a huge advantage over Simplicity. Simplicity has a lot of confidence against this team. You know, they play with a lot of these players, right? And typically when you're playing against old teammates, you know, you're going to come out, you're going to have a little bit extra fire, right?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. As the final weapon placement of the first half. What are we going to see? A simple little block over towards Pistons. No weapon placed. Yep, and it is in fact going to be the block when we go into the half. Tied up, or as we did in map number 1, a 4-2 advantage.
Okay.
Soto still playing very, very well, by the way.
15 kills, 9 downs, 8 deaths. That's a great score line for 5 rounds of Foundation. That means that you're putting yourself in a proper positions for your team to succeed and get out that damage. And that's what you need out of a player like Soto, who is very, very selfless.
Fight for boom.
They couldn't get it. They had to back up. Vital goes down.
I'm going to try and clean it up, though. That's the question. Pal is out of support. Pal gets the revive and also gets away. The fight, like you said, not over just yet. Vital goes down. Is the second cleanup going to come through? No, Exclusive not able to get there, but Sneak is. He comes on the flank. Toy claims the prize of the boom. They have every advantage in the world. 4 players dead. It's all down to Lava. What can he try and produce? The first instinct goes out. Beautiful defensive play. He'll stop the trip cap domination for now. Bear in mind what respawn we're at. 22 seconds is Lava going big for his team when they need him most. Absorbing the pressure, winning 2 isolated 1v1s. Wonderful from him.
We have a few championship players. We have a few players who actually won a ring in Gears of War 4, who won a trophy, who won a major. Lava Season 1 on that Dynasty's team of Optic Gaming. And he just made a championship play to extend that round for his team, picking up that 1v2. And it just shows what type of player Lava is.
Here's the kicker. They go on to win this round. That was a 1v4. He was in all by himself. Of course, it's Lava looking for more. Shield comes through, not able to clean up Exclusive, who's full red.
That's exclusive, picking up some big kills. He takes down 3, takes down 4. And this is how quickly this can turn around. The round can turn around and go in your team's favor. They have B, they got C.
Where's Soto? Soto is the only player that matters in this situation. The A-Hill is going to be decapped. And look at that beautiful rotation from him. He, again, will prolong this round for Reciprocity.
He's going to stop that domination and get that decap. But you got to call it out, and you got to look for these players. You got to look for these players, right? When you kill 4 people and there's only one guy alive, he's going to one of these hills.
Right.
And if he doesn't, let him twiddle his thumb somewhere on statue or on cave side. But they got to come to these hills. Make sure you cover them, and they're going to get this damage out. And Simplicity is going to tie it up 3-3 at the half.
Now basically back to square one where we were. First of 4 rounds now. Of course, we'll take map number 2, Simplicity. The intensity definitely there early here on Saturday, despite 2 extremely good plays from Reciprocity in that last round, not able to win the round.
All right, folks, it is going to be halftime, so we will have a new set of heal, and all those power weapons will be wiped off the map. Our respawn timers will drop back down to 12 seconds as well. Reminder, the losing team places at the end of each round, as well as the respawn timers increasing by 2 seconds at the end of each round.
Second half underway. Board with exclusive. All tied up as well. Bear that in mind. 3-3 really is anybody's game. It's exclusive trying to get close to Zenon. Zenon in hot pursuit of Lava, but for now, Lava is still up. A couple of kills back and forth here, but you know, we talked a little bit about the home hill setup in the first half. Home hill setup in the second half on this map would almost be impossible to break it if you have a good enough team ready and waiting set up for those pushes to come through.
It really is a difficult setup. And on the second half, you can run a neutral hill setup, a neutral and home hill setup. But at the end of the day, I feel like the home hill is the more favorite setup because of this choke point that Toy is currently debating if he can push through, right? Because he really can't. You have to put proper smokes down, funnel through that little area, and try to get to your home hill. And typically, teams just have their lancers pointed at it. So what you see is teams rotate through mid-map towards their opponent's home hill. Why? Because typically, it's the less defended hill. Now, on the Reciprocity side,
so true.
You got to be smart with finding the numbers because that's how they need to shift their numbers in rotation through that B hill back and forth to home hill based off of where the majority of numbers are for Simplicity. And they did a good move bringing most of their members back to their home hill for the defense, recognizing what Simplicity was doing. Great effort, but they made the push a little bit too late, and they were found out.
I mean, that's just great defensive work. Coming through a 1v1 on the other side of the map.
Beautifully executed by Reciprocity. I gotta give shout outs to the IGL and the coach on that team. Whoever made the play, whoever made sure they called the rotations, because that was flawless.
This is a crazy fight to keep Simplicity in this round. And then we'll find one, looking for more. Pell dancing and darting through all the chaos. And somehow, Toy finds Pell, gets the kill. And Simplicity still up, but keep your eye on the score, guy. 160 to 91. And Reciprocity with the 2-1 hill advantage. Simplicity have one push, and it has to be a good one, and you have to team white.
They do. They got a team white. They got their home hill. But Reciprocity made the rotation. They said as they're putting all their resources to break their home hill and they're struggling, we're just going to pull our numbers off respawn and go over there towards the E hill. Why? It's the less defended hill because they had to use 4 people just to get their home hill back.
Oh, but here's the collapse that could come through. E is neutral. At that point, you don't even need to cap it. Kills are everything, and when it's Reciprocity picking them up, well, you're not going to be able to break their home hill, that's for sure. Pelt is going to seal the round with the pick onto Toy, and just like that, Reciprocity back in the lead.
So when you're a team that has a more of a slower play style, you use your lancers a lot, your pistols, you slow the game down. You gotta have great call outs, and if you don't have great call outs, you gotta kind of have a player that's kind of quote unquote clairvoyant in a sense, where you kind of got an instinct of where that push is gonna end up coming from, and just knowing your opponent's like they lost this fight, they're gonna end up rotating the statue off respawn. Let's start moving our forces this way. They just lost that fight. Let's start rotating our forces this way. If you can predict what your opponent is thinking. And once you play enough escalation, it becomes easier and easier because it's typically what your team may do in that situation, right? It's the smart move. And once you figure out what's their smartest move, you can adjust for that and make a different setup. And if you can keep doing that, you will frustrate your opponent so much because you're always a step ahead.
And it's funny because that's why sometimes you hear professional players say, yeah, playing against idiots is always harder than playing against the best players in the world.
Yes,
you cannot predict what they're going to do.
And that's why GNT had such success last weekend. Unorthodox play style. They took out the game until around 13, and they had a Cinderella weekend. They were a little bit unorthodox, and after the game, they didn't know what to expect. They didn't have anything figured out. That type of unpredictability is so useful and is so big, especially this late into the season.
Yeah, you play the same way every time. Well, there's probably enough mud out there to learn exactly what you're going to do in every situation.
Or you're copying the team's play style that somebody has already perfected it and know how to counter.
Right, exactly that. A nice team wipe comes through, though, early on here in round 2 of the second half is Reciprocity may try and make Simplicity pay. There's the boom from Vital. Was wondering when we would see it, but the rush may come through. He does well to find the second without trading his own life. Full rev, the fight still going on the team hill. Can Toy be the X factor Simplicity need right now by himself? Not gonna happen. Reciprocity, now another 2-round cushion.
Yeah, that's a good Reciprocity round there, Ben. They're showing that in the second half of this map, it's more of their play style. You know, it's locking down those home hills. It's more geared towards them. They're a very, very smart and educated team. So for the side of Simplicity, what should they put down on the weapon placement? It's got to be a statue, right?
They have the boom.
Because you can't do pistons because Reciprocity is so strong in this area. If they get you locked in another setup, whatever that power weapon is, that pistons, you might as well just give it to them for free every single time. But if they find themselves in that situation, you put something down on a statue that's spawning up, rather if it's a nades, a sniper, which is what your team is good with, right? You see these setups, they're Lancer-heavy setups on top of Foundation and Welding. So that sniper in the hand of Zenin will be able to pick off those heads and put them in an advantage. Putting the incense down is just saying that, hey, I think Simplicity is just saying, hey, you know what? We lost the team fight. We know why we lost. We're making the adjustments. Let's not change up our play style too much.
All good and well until you lose that initial and you still know why you're losing the initial and nothing's changed and you're 4 rounds deep. Like,
that's the risk sometimes as an IGL. You got to make that call. Say, hey, I know what went wrong. Let's do it again. Trust me this round. But if it doesn't happen, then you just kind of need to take that L and just switch it up a bit.
Well, 3 dead for Reciprocity, so maybe they did know why they lost the team fight. As another player falls, it's down to Soto. He's dead. 5-man team wipe. Well, yeah, props to Simplicity. Keep it the way it was. Win the next round.
Yes, it is. As you see, doing well so far. They got that boom control as well. A 2-hill advantage also. So these guys, they're being super, my fault, not super patient, being super aggressive to push in and in this round because they knew they had the one-up on their opponent.
Well, that should be a wrap.
They got to get these last few kills, though.
It's a 2v1. They're not going to throw that away. 5 dead once again. Simplicity, keep it close. 5-4 now. Still in favor of Reciprocity, however.
This is the definition of a dogfight. All right, both these teams fighting for the name on the front of their jersey and their charities as well. A lot on the line. And they're leaving it all out on this stage, folks. Let us know in the chat who you guys are rooting for. Also, let us know in the chat what charities are you guys out here excited to see that these teams are representing.
Here's the downside of Simplicity winning that last round, because obviously they went Pistons last time. You're essentially giving up statue. You're not going to be able to get that snipe that maybe you did want to put down. Obviously, we talked about it. Instead, Reciprocity have to pick. You know damn well they ain't putting a sniper down on this map.
So my thing is, play to your team's strengths, right? So the previous round, if they would have put snipe in this spot, they could have played for the boom off the initial. If they lost it at that point, then it's like, all right, we got the snipe as a backup.
Right.
Rather than we got the incense as a backup. But now they still got nades. Even breaking these setups, having nades, it's a weapon that goes bang, right? It's an explosive. It has exactly. You can use that. You can use those 2 frag grenades to break the setups as well.
Starting off this round on board with Hezi. Simplicity looking to tie things up once again. They do get first blood. It comes in the form of Toy on the pick and Vital. Now nades picked up by Zenin. A second kill surely should come through. Pell and Crash, though, trying to keep the numbers their favor, but Toy's going to grab Boom. Finds one. It's Pell that goes down. Soto and Crash still alive. Toy and Zenin up as well. It's a 2v2, and it's just a very, very scrappy start.
Yes, it is. All power weapons picked up as well. Boom's in the hand of Toy Soldier. on the side is Soto with incense in his back pocket, so that's what he acquired. Also, Zenon has the frag grenades on the other end. So 2 explosive weapons in the hand of Simplicity. They should be able to come out and tie this round up. Got to be careful with those nades. Get the best usage out of them. They threw them both, only got it down. And they're actually,
oh no,
Reciprocity with the defensive stand.
It's not over just yet. Exclusive still there. What can he do? Nothing. Soto with a pick, Vital with a pick. But don't worry, because Toy is still alive over towards E.
With the boom.
But what a defensive hold again from Reciprocity. Their defensive stance on those home hills, the way they approach their fights, beautifully executed.
So my thing is, if you get a name player on your team, I challenge you just to toss one and see what your team can move around it. If the fight's still kind of crazy, just toss the second one, you know? But the second, because he put the second one in the bad area where no player was, right? Because he tossed them early. Toss the first one, give the second one 3 seconds, then make the toss. I'm pretty sure you'll get you can make a better educated guess on where the majority of those players will move for you to toss that nade. So, but in this one, it is a 2-hill advantage in favor of Reciprocity. They do have the lead as well. So the game's going to slow down. Boom shot, 28 seconds. Frags, 24. Incense, they're up already. So somebody may have them in their back pocket. And I think it's going to be Soto again.
As you said, the game slows down so drastically. Reciprocity, 2-1 hills and the advantage. Roy, Incense in hand. The fight may start over towards this E hill. Vital could be in some trouble. Exclusive wants it. They're not through just yet. But you can see the pressure Simplicity starting to apply.
Boom up.
They put so many resources over towards the hill, but maybe it just might work because now they have the numbers. They have the nades as well. Zenon desperately trying to chase it down. Crash. In the blink of an eye, Simplicity retake control of the map. They have the control.
The frags are up on statue too.
Now you just have boom.
They went off two. They went off two. Simplicity has said, hey, we went off holding 2 hills. We have so many explosive weapons. They still haven't even doubled back to get the nades off the statue. But they do have the boom shot, and Toy has those incense. So they're going to try to get as many kills as they can. Keep the 2-hill setup locked up. It's going to be difficult because you can't allow people to get in hills like this, right? You got to defend that with your life. Toy, he recognizes it. Now he just needs to hold off.
That's where.
Here comes the nades.
How good is your math? That's the thing. 2 go down. Now, surely, just push. Just go. Soto and Crash, they're only 2 alive. You still have Boom as well.
They went off 1, though. They went off 1. They may still try to push at the end and get a decap.
100%. You have the numbers. Just fly them. Just go for the decap and secure.
About the win off 1.
Just secure the round just like that. You have the numbers. There's no reason.
Yeah.
Even if you win off 1, you win off 2, it doesn't matter. You have 3 players dead, and you have all the utility in the world.
True.
Kill the round. Don't even leave it a chance. 1 unlucky tick, and all of a sudden you lose it. Just win around.
Because you see at the end, I was even uncertain, right? And the reason why I was uncertain, for you guys at home, when you control 2 hills, you get 1.5 points. You control 1 hill, you get 1 point. So it's kind of hard to do that math on the fly sometimes.
And what makes it risky is when you have a decap potentially come through, and all of a sudden the hill's neutral for a split second. Things get real chaotic. So you have the numbers and you have the utility. Use them. Don't rest on your laurels and put Lady Luck on the line. But 5-5 as we head into round 11. I'm so glad this is how we started. So we've seen this matchup hit 5-5 on both maps. Yep.
In the first map, it was Simplicity to pull away with the final 2 rounds to close it out with a 7-5 score victory. Now, let's go. Map number 2. Who is going to be? You got Pale, 24 kills, 12 downs.
What a performance.
21 kills, 17 downs for Soto. Woo, the duo. Let's see what they can do in this final round. Can they close it out and get to match point for Reciprocity in map number 2?
Vital. Of course, that fight for Boom so crucial. Pell is there. Can he find the first advantage? It's ring around a Rosie. No one goes down just yet. Sneak will take Instance, though. Will that sway the fight? Exclusive with 1. Hezi with a second, and all of a sudden, it's crumbling for Reciprocity. Vital trying to do some damage control, but it's Pell left up with just Crash. He has to back away, especially considering Hezi, he's claimed his prize, but Crash with 1 on Sneak may be just enough to prolong this.
He found
round.
a 1v1. He's gonna hunt this player down, but Zenon with the back rolls and the L triggers gonna make that made that into a defensive fight. High percentage chance for him to win it. Hezi with the boom.
As he wants it. Close this round out as quickly as possible. But Lava found the isolated 1v1 against Exclusive. Now it's a 2v1. Still a boom there, but Zenon from downtown will connect with a nade on the Soto. So it just seems like the absolute pandemonium, the chaos will finally settle, and it should be a 2-1 hill advantage in favor of Simplicity.
Hezi needs to just be patient with those boom shots in these pressure situations, you know. That's my only criticism for him. But he has had some great plays with, we just saw a double kill for the nade on that last round to kind of close it out. But in those situations where you can close out the round with your power weapons, you got to be as accurate as possible, because when you go back and you watch the footage, you're just gonna say damn.
Oh boy, Reciprocity once again, they're falling. The only difference is this time Simplicity do have map control. They have the pressure and the presence. If more players from Reciprocity fall, the trip cap could well come through. How long, how much time can Soto try and buy Reciprocity? Sneak left, backing away, crashes there as well to support. Soto looking mid-map to try and take a fight against
team fire.
The team fire is so powerful. Soto will go down.
I can hear the call-outs from here.
But the kills are still coming through. There's 3 down. Lava and Vital still up for Reciprocity.
Oh, that teamwork.
Knocking on the front door. This round is over. 6-5 Simplicity. They put themselves here at match point.
I tell you, Ben, it's a very few things that get me excited, okay, that make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. and when I hear teamwork,
so good,
call-outs, communication, and then I see the crosses on my screen, I get so excited. I get so happy. Like, I just want to give them all hugs, because that's the top of the top competitive play. That's the top of the top at teamwork, and you love to see it when you do.
You definitely do. 6-5 in favor of Simplicity. The block chosen from Reciprocity. Clear out Pistons. 22 seconds this one here as well.
Also, as a player, it's hard to pull that stuff off. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get
in moments like that, when it's sure chaos,
to get 5 people on the same page.
That's hard.
I'm just saying it's difficult sometimes.
With no coach.
With no coach. And so big shout out, because this team has a coach. It's Phallic. Don't know why he isn't here at this event, but, you know, that's a working man, you know. I'm pretty sure if he could have been here, he definitely would have been. But shout out to him, and this team is making him proud.
Stands, waiting for the first blood to come through. Simplicity seem to have control over the initial. Toy will grab Boom, but it's at the cost of exclusive in Zenon's life. Toy able to trade out 1. It's Crash that goes down. He's looking for a second from downtown. Pell falls as well. Now all of a sudden, you've got yourself a 3v3 situation. Nades in Lava's hand, though.
They need to play their lives. You see the pitch coming in from the right. They're trying to play their numbers, work together as a unit, using the Lancer as well, trying to cross out this player, dodging the nades.
What a nade that is from Lava.
It's a championship play.
Wow. He's in a 1v2, and he's able to just again prolong the round. Play after play after play we've seen Lava make so far this series. Because of him, Reciprocity, I mean, they can take a deep breath. They're still in this round.
Oh, you got a player that's weak, and it's Hezzy. He wanted to take the game in his hands. He wanted to be a superstar. He wanted to be a hero, but he's going to pay the price. That's a youngster move right there. But that's going to be 2 kills going in favor of Reciprocity. We'll see if they can spring into action and play for the trip cap domination. But looking at the mini-map, it's looking like they're going to slow down a bit.
The one thing you can say is Reciprocity so clutch, I guess, holding out their home hill setups. We've seen it a couple of times. But with Simplicity, we haven't seen it just yet. Will this be the first time we get to? Vital with 1. It's Sneak that falls.
Sneaky tried to be sneaky, but here comes Reciprocity with the pressure. You still got players like a few of these players hiding around a few of these corners, these choke points, trying to protect the wide angle and give their team some room to fire. But I love the aggressiveness by Simplicity. They said, we're not going to just let you push us in our spine. And they pushed out towards the cave area of the map, and they're about to have themselves a nice little F&D home hill setup.
They're really, really smart. They saw where so many Reciprocity resources
they saw the weakness, right?
And they just flew. They flew.
Game of numbers. They said, hey, we see like 4 guys top tables. That means that we have a man advantage. We can guarantee a man advantage plan for both home hills, and they took it as soon as they recognized that, and that's going to give them some footing to make a play. Now they just have to push out and cause some pressure on top of this E-hill.
But here's the problem. Simplicity's presence is on the other side of the map.
Decap.
Boom is going to be coming up. And
Boom's there.
But trip cap's coming through anyway, so is it even going to matter? Easily
nice
taken
down.
From right underneath the home hill.
Another down.
Stopped, but it's Toy going big. The kill comes through. Surely, Simplicity, this is the moment. Pell and Soto, last 2 up. A 22-second respawn round.
If it's any 2 that can do it for Reciprocity, it is these 2, Ben.
Well, it's 1 person now because Soto fell.
Pell. He's being patient. They know where he is. He's got to push out for the 1v2, and he gets chunked. F-Hill starting to get decapped. Now it's up to Vital. He's going to throw a smoke to block the player on the back end, trying to stay alive, but splash damage catches him. Simplicity about to pull away with the lead. The boom shot's there, all up to Crash. He's not going to be able to make it to the E-hole in time, and Simplicity comes out on top and makes the comeback.
7-5, 7-5. A crazy, crazy close series to start the day. We talked about the difference in pool play, the difference in the tournament format, how crucial it is. If you finish last in your pool, you're going home. There is no loser's bracket here. It's a single elim tournament, and Reciprocity 2-0. They didn't even win a map. If you look at head-to-head and tiebreaker scenarios, map wins are huge. They are in a world of pain right now.
They have to basically play Space Station for their life.
And 2-0.
You have to 2-0. You have to 2-0
That's
now.
scary.
Yeah.
That's actually terrifying.
Reciprocity showed some great resilience, but Simplicity knew they were simply too much for him here in match number 1. Starting off on a Saturday, I love to see Simplicity, even without their coach behind them doing what he normally does. They come out, they keep calmer heads, they end up prevailing as tight as it can be. 5-5, somebody's got to take the lead. Talk to me real quick, Blaze, what it's like to see a team get that lead late in the game, to have to come back.
Oh, man, you get that lead late in the game to try to play back from behind. You got to keep your composure. You need a playmaker on your team as well. And you got to ask yourself, am I going to be the guy to make that play for my unit? And sometimes that's a lot of pressure, and you just got to go out there and take your advantages when you get them and stay cool, calm, and collected.
It's horrible, though. When you make that decision, you're like, I'm going to be that guy. And then you die, and your teammates look at you, and they're like,
you're that
guy.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly.
You that guy,
Yep.
right?
But Ryan, can you explain to us as a coach in that situation when a player does say, I'm gonna make that play, and he doesn't do it, you gotta lift him up, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to trust your players, right? At all times, you have to trust your players, trust your teammates. And so if they want to make a play, let them make a play.
And we're going to send it over to John on main stage because he has an interview with the winning team and a winning player, Toy Soldier.
Thank you so much, Colin. And I am joined here with Toy Soldier of Simplicity. Toy, you guys do it. You pull off a 2-0 upset in the pool of death. Walk me through what just happened.
We literally played our minds out. You know, we still have a lot to do. But yeah, we literally played our game, and it feels good. I'm smiling right now. I'm in a good mood. Like, we literally played our game, and I'm so happy.
I love it. So I looked at you before the match started, and I saw you getting so hyped, pumping up your team. It almost felt like the Toy Soldier of the past that I'm used to seeing on NTR back at Hype Station. Talk to me about that. I mean, what is the importance of energy, and how did that make a difference in this match?
Energy can be very contagious. You know, there's bad energy and there's good energy. So I was like, hey, like, bring nothing but good energy, and you know my teammates are going to feed off of that. And again, you could tell how that went.
Yeah. You're a player that has a rich history, one of the most rich histories in recent Gears esports. You were arguably the best player in Gears 3. I was actually backstage in the warm-ups area talking to Praise and saying, Praise, remember when Toy was that guy in Gears 3? And Praise looked at me, he goes, Fallout, he's back. He's that guy again. Talk to me about the return, the rising from the ashes of Toy Soldier. I know you've been through a lot of ups and downs in your career.
You know, it's super unfortunate after the whole Echo Fox drop. I felt like, there was dirt on my name. But I'm with Simplicity now, regaining that throne, in my opinion, and I'm here. Like, we just got that 2-0 victory, but we got a lot of work to do still.
Of course, everyone remembers the Toy Soldier of the past, the king of Gears of War 3 back then. He's looking to regain his throne, in his words. Congratulations on a huge upset in a pool of death that not many thought you'd be able to do it with. Let's throw it back to the casters on the main stage.
Absolutely beautiful interview we saw right there. Toy Soldier bringing nothing but good vibes to his team all weekend long. Ryan, earlier, I asked you to be a bit of an author for me. Tell me the story of map number 1. I'm going to do it again because we're going to take a look at some great highlight reel type plays, see if somebody stood out to you that you could talk to us through what might be going on.
Yeah, so basically for me, the story kind of map 2, I know we're looking back at map 1 right now, but the story of map 2 for me was basically, Simplicity used kind of the same formula they used from map 1, right? They lost every, what you call a clean round, right? Nothing on the map, no weapons, no nades, no boom shot, right? Reciprocity won all those rounds. Going into map 2, Simplicity, the second they lost rounds, boom shot down again, right? Simplicity never won a round without boom shot on the map. So they took the same formula from map 1 that we talked about prior.
That's a good stat.
What did you see, Blaze, on map 1 that got... What did you see on map 1 that then transcribed into the second map that we saw on Foundation for Simplicity? What did they take away from winning those first 4 rounds and then possibly losing handles and then coming back and taking complete control over map 2 late in the game?
Yeah, it was just composure, man. Like late game composure. We watched the series get tied up 5-5 twice. and they come out and win those last 2 rounds, those high respawn rounds. And they go back to a quote that Toy said, we played our game, and I was so excited. When I was excited casting that, because that was Simplicity's game, the same game that I saw them play beforehand. They've discovered an identity, but their gameplay, their play style works so well in late game situations because those respawn timers are so high. You use those long range weapons, you use those crosses, you get somebody down on a 20+ second respawn round. At that point, you got numbers, and you just keep working those crosses.
And if you're Reciprocity, do you have to walk away from that 2-0 and say, look, we had a lot of resilience, but Lava was making plays left and right, both maps, and we got to use that kind of spark to go into our next matchup against Space Station, and we got to fly on all cylinders now?
It was just a tough matchup.
You have to 7-0 at this point because you have to 2-0 first and foremost. Then what's the other tiebreaker? Well, it's rounds won, rounds lost. So you're basically looking at we can't have close games.
Yeah.
We need to come out. We need to make sure we don't drop a map, and we have to really make an impact on the map. I mean, you're looking at what? Both of those, luckily, were 7-5, right? So you do anything better than that, that's progress. But you really need to set the tempo now because tiebreakers will happen.
So they got to come out and start dictating the pace of the game and not let the opposing team dictate it for them. And I think what we're going to take away later on is we're going to see teams actually start to play a little bit scared. I saw when we got to 5-5, I saw a lot of hesitancy late in rounds where you had numbers. Normally you use your numbers to keep numbers. And if you look at these 2 wins, you get 7-5 on Slab, 7-5 down there on Foundation. And in those final rounds, Simplicity just took a handle of it and said, we've got control over everything.
And I just want to say, too, you think about it, Simplicity, they have to watch this next matchup and say, you know, because if Reciprocity loses Space Station, that's pretty much Simplicity. Yeah, they're going on through, and that takes a little bit of pressure off that match against Space Station. But if it's Reciprocity beats Space Station first, that
can happen. They played at the last event they played at. It was super close.
It's always been close games.
Yeah,
with those guys.
This is the pool of death for a reason, right?
Yeah.
We think that any of these teams could come out and beat any of these teams, right? That's kind of what makes this pool
could have
so
a
scary.
three-way tie. You could have a three-way tie. If there's anything, it could be this pool.
Right. If there's ever a pool for a three-way tie, I think it could be this one more than anyone. I think that other pools are fairly cut and dry, to at least to who's going to get last in it.
Right.
This one, they could all come out and get first, second, or third and win
That's
that
why
shot.
so much pressure on this tournament to play to perfection. Even if you can make it out of this pool and lose a series, the round counts are even crucial as well. So you have to be careful with that. Every round is important all weekend long.
Single elimination pool play. I'm making that a thing. This is single elimination pool play.
Hey, every round is important, but every round is just as much important this weekend because it is a charity invitational. That's added pressure. Some of these players might have never felt that kind of weight in the world on their shoulders, that there's not just their teammates looking at them, their coaches looking at them. Now they've got the added weight of a charity they're fighting for. They want to do good in this world. They want to pass it along. And so I think that we're going to have to see what the rest of these teams do as they come in throughout the day. And we're going to throw it on now over. We're going to look at Pool C, how that started to shake out, how we're starting to get that a little bit shaped up going into the day. And we saw it. We had the update from you, Guy Blaze, in the middle of Game 1. LatAm Kings take the first game in Pool C over Fable. So now LatAm Kings, they're staring at Ghost Gaming. The second place team from San Diego, they're saying, we got to take you down, but we got an advantage right now. We can still come out of our pool.
Hey, I just want to make a comment towards the pressure situation. Yo, we're making boys to men out here, all right? That pressure situation, there's a lot of life lessons that you can learn on that main stage as far as leadership, teamwork, how to be able to come out of something like that, be able to communicate, use your words, right? A lot of life lessons being taught on that stage. And like you said, you talk a lot about that pressure. That's the beauty about esports, you know, and being able to put, you know, a lot of these players in these type of situations. I know as a player, I grew a lot being in those pressure situations.
And speaking of pressure, nothing is scarier than a team with nothing to lose. LatAm Kings has been playing with 2 subs right now, right?
That's true.
In their eyes, like,
if
they lose, they're expected to lose. You know, if they win, it's a shock, right? They have absolutely no pressure on them, and so nothing's scarier than a team with nothing to lose.
Corner Dog has nowhere else to go but out of the alley. But I'm telling you right now, I think these teams have got to look at themselves in the mirror and figure out where they go from here. Whether they lose their first matchup or they win their first matchup, it's a gut check time because the second matchup is just as important as the first, whether you win or lose, because you could still shake out, as Blaze said, in a 3-way tie. So all these matchups, all these rounds, everything has pressure all weekend long, and I can't wait to see it because it's stacked. Our whole card, our all day on Saturday is stacked, and I am so excited for the rest of this day.
We got some great games.
Yeah, definitely do. We definitely got some really, really great games.
That was my first ever match, guys.
Oh, congratulations to Ryan. First series on the desk.
And look, we're going to have to go ahead, and that's going to be it from us at the desk after match number 1. Simplicity takes a 2-0 win. A lot of coal on stage. The pressure might turn them into diamonds. Come back and join us at the Columbus Charity Invitational, ladies and gentlemen.